That's a very egotistical way to think about it.
I'm the one providing the service. I'm the one with the spin and dry cycle. I'm the one that has the ability to whip up a good goddamn froth. They don't have to do anything. There's no such thing as a bad female lover.
See, but you're Gene Simmons from Kiss, so it was probably pretty easy to go out and get laid. I think a lot of guys can't go out there and get laid, so the girl is performing the service.
I do understand what you said, but you asked me. You didn't ask Jerry Wombat from REO Speedwagon. You said, Gene,
are you saying that he has used prostitutes?
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Of course not.
Jerry Wombat.
That'd be a nice little lawsuit.
No, of course not.
Because you guys have never been sued.
But let me think. Yeah, there was one time.
Sure.
Yeah, it happens. When you're in the public eye, that's bound to happen.
I guess. But I don't care, you know. This morning we did CBS and CW, which used to be called PIX.
Yes.
And I will tell you that the phones are off the hook. People have all sorts of things to say, obviously some pro, some con. And I think that's okay. The idea that you can engage in the conversation. See, I think Amsterdam has got it right. I think that the Scandinavian countries have it right because there are sections in town that you can go to if you want to avail yourself of those services. They go through clinical sort of tests to make sure they're healthy. They're taxed, right? And so the criminal element and the drugs are at a minimum. Whereas in this country, you know, they try to do the same thing with drinking. I've never been drunk or high in my life, but I don't want to prevent you from doing that if that's what you want to do. And when Prohibition came in, the government actually tried to stop it. And as soon as that happened, the criminal element came into it, and you had murders, an entire underground business entity. The criminal element in America got started in America, grabbed a toehold with alcohol, and then it went into drugs and everything else. And I think the government should get into the prostitution business.
We should run on that platform.
Limit it, and I think that's going to take decades and decades. My God, gay rights are just coming into the fore now, but it is pop culture's responsibility to address the issue in song, in movies, and everything else.
Where does that stop, though, with drugs and then, like alcohol, obviously prohibition, and then drugs, and then prostitution?
Well,
where does it stop as far as the government becoming pimps, pretty much?
No, a pimp is going out and getting your stuff. The government has laws that prohibit, for instance, the press from using slander. There are laws, guidelines. Otherwise, you have freedom of the press. Nobody forces you to buy the newspaper, but you're not allowed under the freedom, like expressing yourself, freedom of speech and freedom of press, to get up and yell fire just because you want that. That's not freedom of expression. That's incitement to riot. So within certain guidelines, the government does have a responsibility and should be in charge of, this is a business, it's earned income, where are the taxes, and what are the rules of this business? Otherwise, it's consenting adults behind closed doors.
People might argue that that would, I don't know, kind of bring the downfall of the family.
You know, that's a good point. But lest we kid ourselves, it exists today. The difference is that the families, I don't think it would change anything, in fact. What I think it would do is it would empower the women who choose that lifestyle to lead a healthier life and not be victims of the pimps and the crack, and the crack and all the rest of that.
That's interesting. You said the empower again. You see women that are prostitutes as being empowered?
To the extent that they have a choice in picking their lifestyle, yes, they should be. Because that should be a choice. If I want to be a sadomasochistic love slave, why should society have anything to say about that just because it doesn't agree with somebody else's lifestyle? It's only now that gay men and gay women are even having the ability to express their different lifestyles. At the end of the day, what I want for myself shouldn't be anybody's business. And then what you and I, as a matter of fact, both you guys, if Opie and Anthony wanted to get inside my place and tie me up, but that's another story. If we all engage in consensual adult behavior, what's an
offer? You got some fantasies there,
right?
I've heard about you guys. I know about you.
Yeah.
How have you stayed semi-good friends over these years?
Oh no, let me think. We're really not friends. We're just coworkers. No, I'm kidding.
And no, this is a business now. Sure.
this is like, yeah, this is like, you know, Kiss.
This is a good business.
This is like
I'm sure you're not hanging out with Paul Stanley when you're not on stage.
Everybody frowns.
We don't hang out when we're not doing this.
They frown until 5:59.
Yeah.
Smile till 11 and frown at 11:01.
That's right.
Well,
it's been a long time.
Yeah,
We have very different lives right now.
here's what it is. Look, you got. I'm watching.
Is that okay
good
that he's
rustling
making
cable.
noise?
Absolutely not. Russell
Christ.
doesn't do that at home.
They actually,
Well, Jimmy needed his food, though.
certain aspects of prostitution are kind of loud, like dominatrix stuff. I mean,
That's a comic book I published in Simmons Comics, and I own that trademark, Dominatrix.
Really?
What's
Yeah.
the trademark for it?
The trademark? You mean the application?
Or with the picture? I'm thinking like the money bag with the thing.
Well, Moneybag logo is the trademark for the comics group, Simmons Comics Group. But actually, the title,
Simmons Comics Group.
Dominatrix, as in Dominatrix Comics, and the word as applied to the superheroine I own.
Jesus, how'd you get that one?
Jesus, I don't own yet.
But how'd you get dominatrix done?
Well, what you do is in the trademark laws, it's not that you can own a word. You can own a word as it applies to a specific product and as expressed in interstate commerce. That sort of means the word, I don't know, footsie. You play footsie with somebody. Well, you can't really own the word footsie because the trademark office would say, well, what do you mean you want to own footsie? Well, I want to own the name. Okay, so if I put together a T-shirt, and first I have to do a little bit of research, find out nobody else owns it, and then if I make a public statement to the government and the commerce world, as in commercial, I intend to own this word footsie as applied to schmatas, which is T-shirts and so on, or paper goods like posters. Those are different areas in these United States. Then I have to engage in interstate commerce. It means I sell one to New York, my grandmother buys it, and then you start to get dibs. You start to get ownership of that word. And I own the Moneybag logo. And you can actually bend the will of the government and make it do your work. Like right now, what happened right now was a much quieter and calmer assistant. You see the way that works? And because of that, he gets a little pat on the hand. He doesn't bother me. I don't bother him.
Danny, you all right?
Why?
It works out.
Danny's a little...
He just said, fuck the Jew.
everything's
That's
cool.
what he just...
You all right, Danny?
Yeah.
You like when Gene touches your
Yeah,
hand
it was
like
very
that?
calming.
It was very calming to me also not to have this.
Do you got OCD with the noises or what?
PSIRTIRS.
What?
What's PSOT? What's that?
OCD. Obsessive compulsive. Like, do noise get to you?
Not really.
I think he was trying to make a point, and then that was
because
a little distracting.
I remember the last
That's
time
the
he was
word.
in here,
Yeah.
he was bothered by some of the noises that went on in the studio as well.
Well, I just find it bizarre that when you're interviewing people, there's stuff going on. Like, spilled water. Well, what's the
Spilled
matter with
water.
things? It's just noise. No. It doesn't have to be noise.
Get a paper towel. Someone.
I think Gene just likes hearing
now you're whining.
pure Gene.
Huh?
Like, I think Gene just likes hearing pure Gene.
Well, that's
You don't
true.
want to hear, like, other noises in there when you're trying to hear just Gene.
Like when you guys are on, you just want to hear pure Opie and Anthony.
Yeah,
No, not really.
some days.
We kind of
How
like
come
the
you don't-
noises. We like the noises in the background. What are you looking for, E-Rock?
It's just water.
You spilled it on my copy of the book. Give me one.
eBay.
And now
There it
eBay,
is.
you could say that's water that Gene Simmons spilled.
It's water under the
And
bridge.
make sure Gene gets his cut.
What's the truth in the rumor that I heard about you franchising out Kiss? Looking for younger replacements to go out under the Kiss name,
That's the TV show.
endorsed by you.
Right. That's
Well,
the TV show that he can't talk
so
about.
so the truth is that there are always, every week, night and day, year in, year out, always interesting conversations going on. But until something is real, it's not.
Okay.
So there are conversations being held about all sorts of issues, and that's one of them.
That's one of them?
Sure.
You would sanction. I'm not saying whether this happens or not, but hypothetically, let's say this is something that is real. You would sanction another Kiss that is made up of people that are maybe look-alikes, sound-alikes?
No, I wouldn't do that. I would sanction 100 other kisses.
Oh, my God.
Should I get that or just hang myself now?
Oopsie, my phone made a noise.